Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jerry, and today I'm going to go over my Week 4 predictions. For every single game in Week 4, I'll do my score predictions, my straight-up picks, and against the spread. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I do these videos every single week. I have power rankings, also been doing food reviews. So let's get right into this. And starting off, we have a game that you've probably already seen. I've been working a lot this week. I had two 12, 14-hour days at work. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get home in time to upload this before the game. But just be aware, this particular game, I did make this prediction before the game. I predicted Giants 24, Cowboys 21. Thought process, I think the Giants starting to look like they can put it together on offense. Honestly, kind of an underrated receiving core in Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Darius Slayton. You've got Devin Singletary, who has done good in these past couple weeks. A weapon there, obviously, no Saquon Barkley, but still able to produce. And I think the Cowboys probably had this one circled on their calendar as a must-win game and a get-right game. But I think the Giants can cover, and I don't think the Cowboys have that big win against the Browns week 1, but really haven't looked like the same team that they were last year in week 1. So I'm taking the Cowboys 24, Giants 21. Then we move on to the Falcons Saints, where I'm honestly very surprised at a lot of these spreads this week. I think it's odd to me that certain teams are favored. Like the Saints have looked like one of the best teams in the league. Obviously, last week they take a step back. They deal with some injuries, and the Eagles able to shut down the run game. But the Falcons haven't looked great. Yeah, you play a good game and a winnable game against the Chiefs, and they've definitely progressed. But for them to be favored, I know it's in Atlanta, but you're fairly close to New Orleans. So I'm sure New Orleans is going to be traveling well. So I don't get the favoring there, but I'm taking the Saints. I think the Saints are still a great football team, and I think the Falcons are figuring it out. You've also got Bijan Robinson, who's injured and might not play. So I'm taking the Saints at 24, Falcons at 20. I think it's a close game, but for you to get 1.5 on the Saints, I'm not going to give you betting advice, but boy, that seems like a great deal to me. Next, we have the Bears-Rams, where I actually made this prediction months ago in my prediction video, and I looked at the scores and I went, you know what? I'm going to leave it the same. I think the Bears could beat the Rams. Doesn't seem as likely right now with the Rams just beating the 49ers last week and the Bears struggling to win. Basically just the defense wins week 1 with the Titans, and then the Colts last week was an absolute mess. So don't really have much of a reason to think the Bears would win, other than, the Rams do have to travel across the country. And but they basically played an away game at home last week with all those 49ers fans there. So I'm taking the Bears 24 to the Rams 23. I don't feel great about it. Rams have a lot of injuries, probably why they're favored too. But against the spread, I'm taking the Rams. They looked good last week. They still have Matt Stafford. Caleb Williams idle. But yeah, I'm taking the Bears in the money line, but against the spread, I would go Rams, and I think it's going to take some time for Caleb Williams to figure it out. So Bears 24, Rams 23. Next, we have Packers Vikings, which seems like an unpopular opinion, I would assume. Again, kind of surprised that the Packers are favored in this game, because the Vikings are undefeated, have been demolishing shitty teams. I think it being in Green Bay is important. I also think Vikings fans will travel well. But it is tough to invade that Packers stadium, and I think that's going to be a big game changer, honestly. I think Jordan Love might be back. We don't quite know exactly. He was aiming to play, but I think there could be some bullshit going on. But I'm taking the Packers in this one at -3. Again, I picked the score to be 21-17. I put the spread up there, and I go, damn it, we're close. Where I think if you can get the Vikings at +3 with how they've been playing and how they demolished the Texans, murdered the 49ers. Well, maybe not murdered. It was a 6-point game, but point is they've beat some good teams already. Packers have been good too, and unfortunately just beating bad teams, but it has been with their backup quarterback. So it just shows how good the team is around them. But I'm going to take the Packers in this one. I think they're proving to be a great football team, and I think they have the Vikings number. So I got the Packers 21, Vikings 17. Next, we have the Colts Steelers, which I think this is going to be a bit of a stinker. Low scoring game, 13-17, I think is a pretty fair score. I might be a little high on that too, because I don't think the Colts defense is good, but the Steelers haven't really done anything on offense that excites me and it shows me that they're going to put up a bunch of points. Maybe this is their opportunity to do that. Colts have struggled against the run, obviously not last week against the Bears, but all season they've struggled against the run, and the Steelers excel at that, and that's why I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think the Colts have struggled passing the ball, but they have been pretty good in the run game. They have a good offensive line. They have Jonathan Taylor. That's a great recipe for gaining yards and being able to put points on the board. But you're going to be going up against probably the best defense in the league in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Colts might not score 10 points, and I guess this would be a great game for the Steelers to finally score 21. So I think it could be wrong here. I'm also surprised at the spread. Like, there's nothing to me that would suggest that the Colts should be close in this game against the Steelers. I think it kind of goes to show how overrated the Steelers have been this season. They're 3-0. Everybody's saying, oh, Justin Fields is great, and they're only favored by 1.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm taking the Steelers, though, no matter what. Moneyline, spread, and then in the score prediction, 17-13. Next, we have the Jets-Broncos, another stinker here, which, again, I could not believe the spread when I see -7.5, and I guessed my predictions 14-6. I hate when I do that, because this, like, honestly, I'd probably prefer to take the Broncos at +7.5. I know it's in New York, but just with how the Broncos played last week, to me, it would mean that they could definitely beat the Jets, but to only have to get within a touchdown, that just, the spread seems way too large. I know the Jets just kind of tore apart the Patriots last week, but I don't think the Patriots are the same team as the Broncos. And where it differs is the Broncos haven't really relied on their run game, and the reason the Patriots failed was because they've kind of been relying on the run game and the quick pass game, and the Jets just shut that down. Whereas the Broncos, it's kind of been sporadic. You've got Bo Nix throwing. He can run a little bit, and the running game hasn't been great from the Broncos so far, in my opinion. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game because the Broncos have had a great defense too. I think the Jets will do enough to win. I think this score, it might be way too low on the scoring, honestly, because Rodgers could put 14 up in the first quarter, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I also think he's gonna, him and Surtain. I mean, you got Surtain here, you got Sauce. It's gonna be an exciting game, but it also could just be a 14-6 game. More I talk about it, more I think the score is going to be higher. And the more I don't feel great about really any of my picks. The only thing that I'm really happy about here is that I think the Jets will win the game. But as far as getting 7.5 for the Broncos, I'd probably take that. And, I don't know what the over-under is, but 14-6 just seems... this seems like a very wrong prediction the more I look at it. But that's what I put in, and that's what I'm sticking to, 14-6. Buccaneers, Eagles. This one is another one where it's like, okay, so the Eagles are favored by 1.5. The Buccaneers just got killed last week, and then the Eagles barely beat the Saints. I don't know how much they read into that. I guess these teams are fairly equal, so I could understand the spread being the same. But the Buccaneers getting 1.5 in Tampa was certainly an interesting thing, especially with, I heard Devonta Smith, I think, might be out. So I don't know how that's going to go. Again, this spread probably isn't too bad. I think the +1.5, fairly evenly matched teams. So if you want to assume that the Eagles are a little better because they won last week, then that's fine by me. But I'm taking the Buccaneers to win this one. I think their offense really gets going. I think the Eagles have struggled on defense. And I think with that, I think the Buccaneers are going to be getting going again. Rachaad White hopefully has a better game. Bucky Irving came in and did what he needed to do. And then you still have Godwin, Evans, and Mayfield there. I also think Cade Otton got a lot more targets last week. Maybe he gets a little bit more involved. We'll have to see. But yeah, I got the Buccaneers taking down the Eagles in a close one, 24-21. Next, we have Panthers-Bengals. I picked the Panthers to win last week, and they were dogs. And I'm doing it again. I think the Bengals have kind of been in shambles, and the Red Rifle over there in Carolina looks like the real deal. So I think he's going to do it again. I think it'll be a close game again. I think the Bengals will be sad about it. You could see another game with no turnovers and no punts and, a score on every possession. But I also think Andy Dalton or Joe Burrow, one of them's probably due for an interception, so maybe they won't, but I think this is going to be actually a good, entertaining game, despite you having the Panthers, who everybody thought at the beginning were just going to be the worst team in the league all year, and the Bengals, who have looked pretty bad. I mean, they've looked better. They've actually looked okay for being an 0-3 team, in my opinion, but they still haven't won a game yet, and they haven't been able to put it all together. So with that being said, you'd think this would be a shitty game, but I actually think this is going to be a great game where I'm taking the Panthers, surprisingly to me, getting plus 4.5, especially with how good they looked last week. And I would say as of right now, I feel like the Raiders and the Bengals are a fairly comparable team. If not, the Raiders are a little better. So it just seems odd to me, but I'm taking the Panthers 28-24. Next we have Texans-Jaguars, which this is another one. I know the Texans haven't had a big win yet. You have they win week 1, and then week 2 they have the Bears. They only win by 6. So that's probably what's giving this tiny little minus 6.5 at home too. That's the thing that makes no sense to me. It's like the Texans are in their own house playing the Jaguars, who got mutilated by the Bills last week, and it's only a minus 6.5. Like, you don't think the Texans can win by a touchdown to this dysfunctional organization and the Jacksonville Jaguars? But not much more for me to talk about in that regard with that. I can't believe that it's only minus 6.5, but I'm taking the Texans all day long in that one. Next we have Cardinals Commanders, another interesting one. Okay, so the Cardinals are favored by 3.5 points. Commanders looked really good last week, and the Cardinals lost to the Lions. So I just don't quite understand a lot of these spreads. The books probably know something that I don't, but with how well the Commanders played last week and with the decline that the Cardinals had last week, you might not have Marvin Harrison. I don't know. It just seems like it's odd for me to think that the Cardinals would be favored in this one. So I'm taking the Commanders, and at plus 3.5, this is another one where, like, I would very well be okay with flipping the score and the Cardinals winning 20-17, and you're still getting, as far as the bet goes against the spread, you're still getting the W with the Commanders there with a 3-point difference. So maybe the Cardinals will prove me wrong, but I feel like these teams are fairly comparable right now, with the Commanders having this little edge, especially with last week. You have Dan Quinn and a bunch of his players playing well on defense, obviously not able to hold the Bengals, able to stop them. But Jaden Daniels, when he's able to score on every drive that he goes down the field, then it's a recipe for success to win games. So I'm taking the Commanders at 20, Cardinals at 17. Moving on to the 49ers, Patriots. I think the Patriots will be able to utilize their little run game, short pass strategy that they've been doing. And unfortunately, this is another really unfortunate one where I predicted, I was like, you know what? 49ers just lost to the Rams. This could be a close game against the Patriots, but I still think the 49ers, they want to get their revenge and show that they're a good football team. They're 1-2 right now, which I don't think anyone would have expected. If you told me at the beginning of the season the 49ers and the Ravens are 1-2, I said, what is that? I would say, what does that mean? The Giants and the Panthers are 3-0? Because that's like almost the opposite of what I thought would happen. But I think the 49ers are looking for a get-right game, and they have a great opportunity playing the Patriots, who are kind of just in a rebuilding year here. Just probably trying to get a good draft pick to get a weapon for Drake May is what I would assume. But anywho, 49ers 27, Patriots 17, with unfortunately, plus 10.5 in the Patriots. And I say unfortunately, but why couldn't the Patriots only lose by 10? Why couldn't the Patriots win this game? The Rams won last week. So, 49ers 27, Patriots 17. Raiders Browns, just seems like a repeat. Like when I saw the Giants Browns, who was the other team that played? Was it the Jaguars played the Browns? I don't know. It just seems like all these shitfest games. And so I'm taking the Raiders. I love Gardner Minshew. I think Zamir White needs a little bit more utilization. Utilage is not a word at all. There was no I can't even think of what I can't even think of what word I was trying to use there. But I'm taking the Raiders in this one. Again, I like Gardner Minshew, Devontae Adams, Christian Wilkins, and Mad Max Crosby on the defense. So I'm taking the Raiders at 21, Browns at 13. Another one where I'm kind of surprised. I guess Raiders have a really bad loss to the Panthers last week, so why couldn't they lose to the Browns? And that's probably why the spread's closer. But to me, this is an easy pick for the Raiders to win. Next, we have the Chargers and the Chiefs. This one, another one. It's +7 for the Chargers. The Chiefs haven't won a game by, when's the last time they won a game by 7 points? So I don't know why that's the case. I'm taking the Chiefs there, 21, Chargers 20. I think this one's super easy. Like, I would even parlay it for, Chiefs money line, Chargers against the spread, because I guess you'd probably want to do +7.5 in that case. But I think naturally the Chiefs just play close games and they win close games. Patrick Mahomes said he has to be better. I think the Chargers are going to be able to, do what Patrick Mahomes said and try to cover up Travis Kelce. It's going to really hurt without Derwin James. How convenient, everybody says. Oh, okay. Of course, that when the Chargers have to play the Chiefs, you got Derwin James, who once body slammed Travis Kelce. Oh, now he can't play all of a sudden. Maybe Taylor Swift's going to be at this game, and then they're going to have, I don't know. But I'm taking the Chiefs in this one, 21-20. I think the Chargers' run game's been good. Chiefs will have to shut that down. Justin Herbert can still throw the rock, though. So 21-20, Chiefs over the Chargers. I'm taking the +7 there on the Chargers. It seems too easy to me. Next, Ravens Bills. This is another one. -2.5 for the Ravens, and I'm taking the Bills at +2.5. What is this all about? Why the Bills? I have them in my power rankings. Spoiler alert: they're number 1. The Ravens are number 14, and I know it's in Baltimore, and this would be a perfect game for the Bills. Riding the wave here of like, we're a good football team. We, maybe they'll get too cute or something and have an issue, and the Ravens are. Looking to get their record back into the positives because, again, I don't think anybody expected them to be 1-2 at this point. They barely beat the Cowboys, we just saw what kind of game they played against the Giants. But yeah, I'm taking the Bills in this one at +2.5. You got to be kidding me. +2.5 is kind of crazy, but you also look at it and go, Ravens get right game. So I'd probably stay away from this one betting wise, but I'm taking the Bills 31, Ravens 28. And but I don't know, the +2.5 for the Bills, it just seems crazy to me. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. Next we have Dolphins Titans. This is a really tough one because I think if Tyler Huntley plays, I think you almost have a for sure win for the Dolphins because Will Levis finds way to lose games, and I think he could do that. But the offense didn't even look like a NFL football team last week under Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. So with that being said, if Tyler Huntley wins, or if he plays, he wins, I think you could have a score of like 28-17, 20 still. But because we don't know for sure that they're expecting him to play, the prediction again was from earlier, and I predicted Titans 20, Dolphins 17. This is another one where the Titans are trying to win. You're going to have Tyler Huntley in a short week learning the offense. And you're getting +1.5 for the Titans, which honestly seems low to me, but I'm taking the Titans in this one, 20-17. That means I'm getting a money line against the spread all across the board. Lions, Seahawks, -3.5, another one. I swear to God, that when I put in these score predictions, I put in the betting odds after, and unfortunately I got hit with the -3.5. I think the Seahawks are undefeated and could win this game. Jared Goff's been throwing interceptions and being kind of careless with the ball. I think their run game's been good, and I think their defense is improving. But the Seahawks, this is going to be their first big test because they're 3-0, haven't really played any good teams yet. So I think this is why they lose the test. And only being 3.5, it really sucks. Like if I was actually going to put money on it, I'd probably be more inclined to do like a 2.5 because I think the Lions could just win by a field goal here. And as you can see, I've got it as a close game. But yeah, Lions 21, Seahawks 17, I think will be the final score. And I don't know. We'll see if the Seahawks can keep doing what they've been doing and stay undefeated. But I think this is where you lose them this week. And then finally, we have my all-season record. So last week ended up, what did I end up? I ended up 9-7. So I don't know, decent so far. Back-to-back weeks at 9-7 against the spread. I was also 9-7 though, and oddly enough, the better rushing team record was also 9-7. So 9-7 across the board. I also had a couple predictions that were almost spot on. Like I had Falcons Chiefs 17-21. It ended up being 17-22. There was another one that I can't remember right now, but we had some really close predictions. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check back too sometimes. Like if you watch the score prediction video, or maybe go back and look at week 3 and see what some of my score predictions were and how close they've been. They've been pretty damn close. Obviously, I'm way off sometimes too, but had some good weeks so far, all positive. So no like super bad weeks against the spread. We're not all positive. We're very close. But so far so good. Looking to keep that number up. And I just want to beat the better rushing team record. Last year, I was pretty well under by the end of the season, the better rushing team record, which again is kind of skewed because the better rushing team typically wins, because if you go up by a wide margin, you're going to run the ball. So a little bit skewed, but I try to not factor that in too much. But yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day.